Hey everyone, if you've ever wanted to learn Mandarin but, felt a little intimidated by how it all sounds, you've definitely come to the right place. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful, super simple method to help you start understanding Mandarin from scratch, just by using your ears. So take a look at this, but maybe more importantly, have a listen. Yeah, to a beginner, that can sound like a fast, nonstop, and let's be honest, pretty overwhelming wall of sound. It's just this stream of syllables that feels impossible to pull apart. And you know what? That's a totally normal feeling, and it's exactly where most people get stuck. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you tackle that? How do you turn that wall of sound into something that actually makes sense? Well, it turns out there's a really clear, structured way to do it, and we're about to walk through it step by step. Here's our game plan. First, we'll talk a bit more about that beginner's challenge. Then, I'll introduce you to this 6-step listening method. We'll break down every single step, and then at the end, we'll look at exactly why this whole approach works so well. Right, so that first hurdle for any beginner is what we're calling the wall of sound. Your brain is basically scrambling, trying to find patterns and words, where right now it just hears a jumble of noise. Our goal is to give your brain the right tools to start cracking the code. And this is that tool. We're going to dive into a 6-step process that's designed to take you from that feeling of confusion to a place of real clarity. Seriously, this method is your key to unlocking what you're hearing. Okay, so here are the 6 steps all in one place. Just look at the progression for a second. We start with pure sound. Then we connect that sound to text and tones. After that, we practice it slowly, build up speed, and only at the very end do we focus on what it all means. It's a really logical, bottom-up way of doing things. All right, let's dive right in with step 1. Just listen. This might sound almost too simple, but trust me, it might just be the most important and easiest step of them all. No, seriously, that's it. That's the whole step. Put on some audio, you can even close your eyes, and just listen. Don't stress about what the words mean. Don't even try to pick out individual sounds. Your only job right now is to let your brain get used to the rhythm, the cadence, the whole musicality of the language. Just let those sounds wash over you. Okay, once you've done that for a bit, we move on to steps 2 and 3. This is where we start to connect those sounds you've been hearing to something you can see. This is where the magic of decoding really begins. And the key to this whole thing is something called Pinyin. Now, if you're new to it, Pinyin is an absolute game changer. It's a system that uses the letters you and I already know, the Roman alphabet, to show you how to pronounce Mandarin sounds. It makes the language so much more accessible. It's really the bridge between what you hear and what you read. And this table shows you exactly how it works. You've got the Chinese character, then the Pinyin spelling right next to it, but what's really, really important here are those little marks above the vowels. Those are the tone marks. In Mandarin, the tone, whether your voice goes up, down, or stays flat, can totally change a word's meaning. Nailing these tones, which is step 3, is absolutely crucial. Okay, so once you've made that connection between the sounds, the pinyin, and the tones, it's time for steps 4 and 5. This is all about building speed and getting a natural flow. You're moving from a slow, kind of robotic pronunciation to sounding much more like a native speaker. So at first, you'll practice like this, very slowly. Di, shang, you, cao. You're reading along with the pinyin, making sure every single tone is just right. It might feel a little awkward at first, and that's okay. This careful practice is building the muscle memory you need. And then you start to speed it up until it sounds more like this. 曹在地上. You hear that? See how the words just start to connect and blend together into one smooth phrase? That's the goal. This is where you go from just saying words to actually speaking the language. So, why does this specific order of steps work so well? Let's break down the simple but really powerful logic behind this whole learning process. Well, first off, it works because it kind of mimics how we learn languages naturally as kids. It starts with listening, which trains your brain for the sounds before you get freaked out by weird-looking characters. It also takes a huge, complex skill and chops it up into small, manageable steps. It makes tones a priority from day one, which is a must. And through all that repetition, it guides you from that slow, careful practice to a much more natural, confident fluency. So here's the crucial point. You start with something that looks and feels, well, impossible. But by applying this method, you completely transform it. It becomes structured, understandable, and most importantly, learnable. You can now see all the different parts, the character, the sound, and the meaning. That wall of sound has become a conversation. And the most important thing to take away from all this is that this isn't just about learning one specific text. This is a framework. It's a repeatable process you can now use to tackle any new piece of Mandarin audio or text that you find. You haven't just learned a phrase, you've learned how to learn. And that really brings us to the end. You have the key. You have the map. The only question left is, where are you going to go with it? Now that you have the method, what will you learn next? Thanks for watching.